How's everybody doing today? Sean Miller here, Max Wagers Network, soccer betting with a genius. And before we get too far into it, I want you to make sure you're going and liking, hitting that subscribe button on Max Wagers Network, YouTube, all the social media, Twitter. You see my handle there at the Prodigal Sean. We have a lot of different offers for you. DraftKings promo. Bet $5 to win 200 in free bets. Make your first deposit. Bet $5 on any Major League Baseball money line and win 200 in free bets. You must use our promo code. Use promo code WAW Video in the show box below. Always bet responsibly. You must be 21 years or older to play because Caesars – I use a lot of Caesars lines, and some of the bet boosts we'll use today are from Caesars. $1,000, $1,100 first bet insurance. Place your first time wager up to $1,100. Get it back in the form of a free bet. If you lose, you must use our promo code. It's there. ATS wins Caesar. Links are in the show box below. Once again, 6 hours of great info. You saw me on Morning Wood with Allie Burns from 1 to 2. Before her is Midday Money, Sean Higgs. Just Parlays, Chris King, 2 to 3 Eastern Time. Back to the window, Scott, 3 to 4 Eastern Time. Me, 4 to 5. And then at 5, Game Time Decisions with Lenny and Nick. And make sure you're stay tuned. Obviously a big soccer show here. Football, European football. But we're going to have some other interesting stuff coming up in the future that's going to be with me. I know going to be doing a Formula One show, auto racing show. Obviously, Formula One is really big now because of the Netflix show. And NASCAR is obviously pretty big all the time. Win some money on NASCAR. You can win some money on Formula One, IndyCar. But this show is about soccer. Bad call on Inter Milan and Atalanta. Atalanta, both teams to score. Inter Milan, both teams to score. Inter's up. Both teams have scored there. Atalanta 4-4. So that's an over. Both teams to score. Well, we got those right. So, we'll see what happens today. These games aren't over, by the way. So, let's not count our chickens before they're hatched. So today, obviously, during the game right now, live betting yesterday, we did pretty well. I think if you were following the show yesterday, live betting, Manchester City and Real Madrid today, couple of the results. Liverpool, Villarreal just started second half. I know a lot of people on Allie's show like the under in that game. I liked Liverpool in this game. I didn't think Villarreal was going to be competitive. So far they are. Liverpool's not playing well. I think, when we talk about the Premier League race and just look here, get this up. The Premier League, 1 point right now between Manchester City and Liverpool. Obviously, Manchester City played yesterday, and they're going to get to play Wednesday next week. Liverpool's going to play today and Tuesday. So that game on Saturday against Newcastle is going to be pretty big. It's going to be interesting. Yes, one team. I have a lot of different things for us. Share the slides here. We're going to go through Premier League, Europa Conference League, Copa Libertadores, and some parlays. So we're going to get to all that stuff. We're going to have a lot of different plays here. And I know yesterday we had some people asking a bunch of questions about soccer betting football betting, whatever you want to call it. So if you have any questions about any of that stuff, yeah, Foxy, Villarreal is hanging in right now. I mean, look, there's nothing in the world I want more than Villarreal to win this tie. I don't think it's going to happen. Yes, I did say Inter halftime, full time. They're not playing very well today. I'm just a little bit stunned that they're not playing well with the league title on up for grabs. But I'd like Atalanta to score some goals. Anyway, so see what we got for today. Let's go back. First we want to talk about this Premier League match. See my background. I've talked about this multiple times. I'm a Manchester United fan. I'm going to go to this slide here. Tomorrow, Premier League. It's not the biggest game of the slate. I think, the European games are a little bit bigger, to be honest. Obviously I'm going to watch. I'm a Manchester United fan. Yeah, sorry, Das. These picks are going to be, most of the picks that we're going to talk about are going to be for tomorrow. Thursdays, we're always going to be a day in advance just because, we come on the show 4 to 5 for right now. And it's going to be kind of, a lot of the games will have started. Right now, Das, it's tough because, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. Chelsea, this is the Premier League here. Manchester United plus 230, Chelsea plus 118, draw plus 245. It's at 245. Chelsea has the Champions League basically locked up. 65 points with just 32 matches. Tottenham is at 58 points, so 7 points ahead. Chelsea can probably, needs to win 1 or 2 more matches to kind of lock up that Champions League. They can't win the title, obviously. City or Liverpool is winning that. They're in the FA Cup final against Liverpool. So, what do they have to play for? My only problem with this game is for Manchester United, they only have 14 senior players healthy. No Paul Pogba, no Fred, no Cavani. Cavani's been terrible, to be honest. I mean, he just doesn't want to play. He's constantly out. He's on the beach. He's more worried about doing whatever and playing for whoever he's going to play next year, stealing money from United. Luke Shaw's out. Harry Maguire's out. Jadon Sancho's out. Aaron Wan-Bissaka's out. So they have a lot of second choice players. Alex Telles is going to play left back. He gets killed. So whoever Chelsea's plays down that right wing is going to be pretty good. Yeah, there's so many leagues. It's just, Das, I mean, one thing that I'll say is if you want to become a betting expert in, baseball, there's only whatever games every night. Soccer, there's a lot of leagues. Maybe just focus on one league, try to learn as much as you can with, about a certain league and maybe kind of focus on that. It's really tough when you're all over the place and you're trying to pick games at 8 a.m., 10 a.m., 12, 4. It's I compared it to the NCAA basketball, it's tough. You can't really just, pick, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock games on Saturday. You got to kind of try to find, a kind of a focus and go with that. Foxy, congratulations, 6-team parlay. That's awesome, man. Sierra and Talares, I gave them. That's good. Independent Del Val plus 1.5. Libertad and Independent Medellin and Corinthians team total over 1.5. Man, anytime you can hit a 6-team parlay, it's a great day. We're going to talk about Copa Libertadores and Sudamericana later in the show. Champions League is the highest level. Yes, it's the best teams. It's the highest level. At this point now, it's, 3 of the 4 best teams in the world. But, there's it comes with, when you're betting these games, when you're betting the group stages, it's a little easier, I think, because, you got some of the weaker teams in there and you can kind of, pick apart some games. You got 8 games a day, Tuesday, and 8 games on Wednesday. So it's, Liverpool finally scores. It's about time. I don't know who scored. I know Virgil van Dijk has a yellow card. I think now the gates are going to probably maybe open. I talked about this earlier show. Liverpool, I think, really needs to score another goal or two here to go into the weekend. You know, they play a tough Newcastle team who's been really good since Eddie Howe took over and since they spent some money in the winter. You know, they're in a 1-point race for the Premier League title. They want to go to Spain. You know, if they could score 2 or 3 more goals here and, or even one more goal to cover the 1.5, that would be pretty big. Thank you, Gunjin, for the update. I think that will be big, but I expect them to probably try to press and get another goal here. So we'll see how that works. For this Manchester United-Chelsea match, both teams, when they have played each other for the last 5, have been under 2.5 goals. The last 3 games the teams have played have been 1 draws, 1-1, 0-0, 0-0, terrible games. I was at the one in December at Stamford Bridge. It was my first trip to Stamford Bridge. It was not a great game. United, I thought, actually should have won the game, but they didn't. They got a draw. Before that, United had won 4 out of 6, 4-1-1 in the last 6 before that. I'm going to go into this game, and look, we always say bet with your head, not with your heart. I got Manchester United flags all over the room. I got banners, I got scarves, like everywhere you look, Manchester United stuff. Every time I have so much confidence in my team. I don't care when, I always think they're going to win. Right now, I have no confidence in this team. I think they're dead in the water. They're not playing well under this coach. The coach throws them under the bus. The players stink. Right now, I just, all those players. Liverpool scores again. Own goal. 2-0 Liverpool. Here we go. My play of the day yesterday, -1.5 Liverpool. I think now if you're watching this game, there might be a chance for some people to maybe, bet Liverpool next goal. Liverpool, there's going to be some ways you can make some money live betting on this game now that it's 2-0 and 2 goals in about 2 minutes. So, do you think it's a good betting relegation in the EPL is a good bet with Everton, Norwich, Watley, Bird, and Leeds? Who are the best bets? Thank you, Jim. I think right now Norwich City and Watford are probably down. Norwich is on 21 points. Watford's on 22 points. They've both played one more game than Everton, who's on 29 points. Burnley's on 31 with a -16 goal difference, and Leeds is on -30 with 34 points. Here's the thing you have to look at right now. Everton is in a free fall. See if we can get some odds on that on relegation. Because I think that's actually a pretty good market you can look at. Here we go. Everton is -140, right? They don't even give you odds on Norwich City and Watford. They just assume they're going to go down. So I think, Everton's -140, Burnley's +165, Leeds is +350. When I look at these games and when I look at these odds, a lot of times the bookies are very good. The sports books are good. There was a time when sportsbook was soccer. Maybe they weren't as good as they were now, but these guys are sharp making the odds. If they think Everton's going to go down at -140 right now, Burnley changed their coach. Sean Dyche was there for 10 years, and everybody went nuts when they changed him. But since they've changed, they won a game, they've drawn. So it's something where I think maybe Everton is in trouble. They look really disjointed. They remind me of Manchester United, except for worse players. They're really just disjointed. They're not playing well. Frank Lampard has no idea what's going on, and they have a pretty tough schedule. I know down the stretch they have to play. I mean, listen to this. Let me see this. These fixtures are absolutely crazy that Everton has to play down the line. They have And they just lost to Liverpool. They have Chelsea on Sunday, at Leicester next Sunday on the 8th, at Watford. Huge relegation battle. If Watford wants to get out of the battle, they have to do it there. They play Brentford, who came up and is going to stay up. Great job by then. Crystal Palace, and then Arsenal on the last day. And Arsenal is probably going to have to win that to get top 4. So I just don't see it. I'm going to compare that to Burnley. And we'll see if I like their running a little bit better. And I think when I looked at it, I think I did. Burnley has Watford, and they're playing well. Watford's had a huge, massive game. Aston Villa, who's not very good. Spurs away. That's a tough game for them on Sunday, May 15th. They play Aston Villa. How about this? They play – you're supposed to play you play 19 games you play the teams, then you play the teams again in the second half. And sometimes you play a team, the quirk of the schedule. Sometimes I'll go over to Manchester and you'll see a team twice in like a month. Like, you just played them. So they're going to play Aston Villa on Saturday, May 7th, and then Saturday, May 19th, which is crazy and then they play Newcastle on the last day, and Newcastle has nothing to play for. So I think I would take Everton. I think Everton's going to go down. Dawson, when you bet soccer, I think what you have to do is, it's not like we talked about this a little bit on Monday. I think it's not like some of these other sports. When you bet NFL, the line is -6 or -6, and maybe you get a half a point. In some of the books, the over under the money line might be a little bit different, maybe. But, if you bet, it's -6, -110, right? It's just what it is. Now, soccer, if you Caesars might give you a better better odds than, DraftKings or whatever. You have to, some games, it's, you want to shop around. I mean, there's definitely like 30 or 40 cents of value for some of these different sports books. I think the one thing that is really big, Fox Bet, for example, has some really good bet boosts that I'll look at sometimes. DraftKings does a really good job with that. FanDuel does a really good job with that. Unibet does a really good job with that. Unibet has a European book sometimes. So I'll look around and see if there's any Friday night is a good time usually to do it. You go on Friday night and you look for the weekend and you see maybe this thing's giving me Burnley and Newcastle, at plus 600, whereas the other one's maybe plus 475 or plus 500. And then, that's, you're talking about, whole dollar in value there, over the course of a whole year, that adds up. So I use different ones. I'm in Philadelphia. So, but I work a lot I work for NJ.com. I cover high school sports. I do all kinds of stuff. If you're in New York, I have an ESPN radio show on Friday nights at midnight Eastern time and Saturday mornings at 8:00. It's called The Fine Line. I do it with a guy named Joe Wiz. So, we're in New York and a couple other cities. In the fall for football, we'll be in Los Angeles and Chicago and whatever. So it's pretty cool. But if I'm over in New Jersey taping, we tape at Rider University, I'll use this book because I think I get better odds, points bets over there, for example, whatever. So there's different things you can use. Everton's won one away game all season. Foxy, I think Lampard was the wrong choice. Burnley right now, I was at the Burnley West Ham game last Sunday in London. Ben Mee and the coaches did a good job, and they know the team. He's a player. He knows the team, and he knows the squad, and he knows exactly what buttons to push. And I think Burnley's just about going to stay up. And then, they have the American owners are going to put some money in, and maybe next year they'll be a little bit better. Do you think that the new ownership uncertainty coming to Chelsea factors into a way to bet than the rest of the season? I thought that maybe, before it did, when there was a lot of the thing around, Roman Abramovich, obviously, and then, I think, he's poisoned. There's so much stuff going on around him. But I think now, having watched them play in Madrid last 2 weeks ago and just seeing the way they played, and they really should have won the draw, to be honest with you. I think it doesn't have much of an effect there. I think a lot of these guys, like for Manchester United, they're not playing. This new guy is come in and clear house. I think, Tuchel knows what he likes. I think some of these guys maybe are playing for their jobs though for Chelsea. Listen, there's going to be and here's the other thing. It doesn't come into play as much in some of these other sports. Again, soccer is maybe a little bit more specific like this. Chelsea has an FA Cup final. It's a cup final at Wembley. There's going to be 95,000 people. They're going to be playing Liverpool, who might be, at that point, the Premier League champions, the Champions League. In the Champions League final, they already have a trophy. These players want to play in these big games. I mean, these cup finals. Chelsea, the defending Champions League winner from last year. Remember, they beat Manchester City 1-0 and one of the big upsets of all time, to be honest. They want to play in these big games, and there's a lot of competition for these spots. So, Chelsea, while these games might not matter as much, they're pretty much locked into top 4 at this point. These players are going to be playing for a chance to play in the final. And, I think that has, to do with, how they're going to play. And when you look at this game, Chelsea money line plus 118 for me, I'm going to try to take a chance on that. I just think Chelsea has more motivation. Manchester United's dead in the water. The only caveat I'll say, bonus play, Caesar's bet boost, Ronaldo to score first plus 500. I'm always going to take a shot. If you're going to give me a bet boost, and it's going to be $100, $1 extra in value, plus 400 to plus 500, I'm not going to throw like $10. I'm not going to throw like $100 on it. Maybe I'll throw $10. Maybe I'll throw $5. My philosophy is at the end of the week, if I win $50 a day, I'm happy. If I win whatever it is, man, whatever you bet, I don't know, your levels, but some people bet thousands of dollars. Some people bet $5. My friend Rick puts $2 on games in these crazy parlays, but he wins a little bit. And at the end of the week, $75, he's up, $75 is $300 at the end of the month, and maybe that pays for your card payment or pays for your electric bill or pays for whatever. So, I always, I don't need to bet huge amounts. Sometimes I'll take a chance, and if it comes in, $10 comes in. If it doesn't, you're out $10. But I will say this about this Manchester United game: if he starts some of the young players, Garnacho, who's going to be an absolute superstar for Argentina and Manchester United, kid's 18 years old, absolute stud. Hannibal, who came in against Liverpool and just started kicking everybody, and everybody loves him. If they play some of these young kids in this game, which they might do because there's only 14 players healthy, and they're going to have 4 or 5 guys on the bench that are young players, and they're in the starting lineup, I might change my mind a little bit. I always say, make sure you check the lineup an hour before the game. If you're a little bit uncertain about what team is going to play or what you feel like, look at the lineup an hour before. They always come out an hour before. I use Twitter. Manchester United lineup comes out an hour before, but you can search anything like Chelsea lineup, Manchester United lineup, an hour before the match. You'll see it, and you'll have an hour to kind of think about the games. So on top of the, all the time we have here. All right. So, Unibet didn't do the verification yet. Yeah, Dot, Unibet's an interesting thing. I always say too, we have these bonuses here. These ones I'm talking about here, the Caesar's bet promotion and, $1,100 ATS wins Caesar, right? Make sure you're using these. It's free money. They'll say, we're going to give you $300 on cash deposit. You deposit $300, we'll give you $300. You deposit whatever, use these offers, use the $1,100 free. Sometimes I'll bounce around and, I'll use these offers and, maybe I'll use it on a parlay. We'll get to some parlays later, but make sure you're using that. All right. So tomorrow is also the Europa League semifinals, first legs for both of the games. Right here, the first one we're going to talk about is West Ham United versus Eintracht Frankfurt. Do you see the lines there? See the lines there, and that's I guess my mom calling to say have a good show. She's about 25 minutes late for that wish there, though. Thanks, Mom. You see, 3 o'clock tomorrow. Eintracht Frankfurt is without a clean sheet in 5 games. West Ham 6 out of 7, under 10.5. I went on the Ali Burns show, and a lot of those people were talking about betting corners. So I wanted to put this in here as just a different way. West Ham 6 out of 7 games under 10.5 corners. Eintracht Frankfurt 5 out of 7 games under 10.5 corners. I personally don't usually bet corners because it's just one thing. It's just a different thing to kind of take my focus away from something else. But a lot of people do, and they win some money doing it. It's definitely a way you can do it, and stats obviously are important there. West Ham has played, the last 5 games under 4.5 cards, and Eintracht Frankfurt's under 4.5 cards in 6 of 7. So for me, there's a bonus play. I'm going to give you a play here. Money line, West Ham, money line minus 110. Because Frankfurt doesn't have a clean sheet, and I think West Ham is the best team, even though Leipzig is favored to win the Europa League right now because they're playing Rangers, and I think they perceive Rangers as a weaker team. West Ham United, to me, is the best team in the competition. So West Ham United, I'm going to take team total over 1.5 at plus 100. Now, sometimes I'm going to give you a bonus play, right? Now, I'm not – you can play it. Usually the bonus plays are going to be plus 300, plus money game, plus money parlays or something like this. I don't necessarily will always play them, and I don't say throw a lot of money on them. The plays are going to be my main picks when you see this stuff on these sheets here. My main plays will be up here. So under 10 corners and under 4 cards using some of the information from above is plus 300 with some of the different sports books. And I think that's definitely a good way that you can go. I personally think Declan Rice is a monster in midfield. I know Frankfurt has been pretty good, and they've overachieved in Europe over the last few years. They're not very good in the Bundesliga right now. So I'm going to take a chance on the better team that I perceive to be the better team. All right. So that's the first game. They're actually both at the same game, same time. I just wanted to kind of show you that one first. The second game we have is RB Leipzig minus 320 versus Rangers plus 900, draw plus 400. If you were here the other day when we talked about, let's see what the score is now, Liverpool 2-0. If you were here when you talked about that, the Liverpool game, I just didn't think that, Villarreal was an abject outsider in the odds. Liverpool plus 120, City plus 140, Real Madrid plus 500 to win the Champions League. And it was, and then obviously Villarreal plus 1,700. Same thing here. Leipzig is plus 100. Rangers are actually like plus 900. What they are actually in this game to win let's see if I can get rid of that. There you go. See, and Rangers are a very good team. They score a lot of goals. They're good in Scotland, but Leipzig is the top 4 team right now in the Bundesliga, one of the top 3, probably the third best team, third best league in the world. When you look at these trends, Leipzig to score first, 4 out of 5. Rangers over 2.5 goals, 8 out of the last 10. Rangers, both teams to score 8 out of the last 10. Rangers score some goals. They give up a lot of goals. All right. Especially in Europe. They played well, but they give up goals. Rangers have won 4 straight, and 2 of the games had red cards. If you're a big red card, they played Braga in the quarterfinals, and they had 2 red cards in that game. So they were actually playing in extra time, and Braga had 9 men, trying to get a goal to stay in the thing. So I actually thought Braga was pretty good value in that game, but you can't get red cards. Red cards change games. Leipzig once again is the favorite plus 100 to win the Europa League. Right now, my picks on this game would be Leipzig minus 1.5 at minus 110. And over 2.5 goals, minus 140. Now, minus 140 is about the limit of what I would play. I don't really love playing, minus 140, minus 150, minus 160. Yeah, look, Das, like there's, I think in New Jersey, there's 26 different books you can play or something like that, obviously, and they're all given different kind of offers out for everything. And, it's almost like a full-time job trying to figure out what the best offers are. But yeah, definitely, some of these odds, maybe minus 1.5 is plus 100 with one of them, or plus 1 or minus 105. It's just a little bit different value over the course of a season. If you're constantly finding the best value plays and the best value bets for your plays, maybe it ends up being an extra $500. But, $500, put it in Bitcoin or put it in thing, and then all of a sudden you got some extra money. So the bonus play here is Leipzig over 2.5 goals at plus 140. We've already said Rangers gives up goals. Both teams to score. Rangers over 2.5. If I think Leipzig is going to win and most of the Rangers games go over 2.5, right away, that should be 2-1, right? So you say, I'm going to take a chance on Leipzig to score 3 goals or 4 goals against Rangers, end the tie, first leg. Don't have to worry about it in the second leg. Kind of what I've been, talking about with Liverpool here, and the 2 goals in 2 minutes. And just think if Liverpool goes and finds that third goal now, that ties over. And I think, Leipzig has that chance. Leipzig's the better team. Rangers did really well to get here, like Villarreal. Villarreal did really well to get here. In the Conference League, the teams are all pretty good. I think there's 2 outliers in the Champions League, Villarreal, and the Europa League, this Rangers team. Any of the other 3 teams, I wouldn't be stunned. Obviously West Ham and Leipzig are the 2 best teams, but, I wouldn't be stunned if Frankfurt got through. But Rangers, I just don't think they have a chance. I know the odds on to go through are really, see what Rangers are to advance. It's not very good. They don't have much of a chance to advance. If they win this game, going back home to Scotland, maybe, but I just don't see it. So my plays here, obviously, once again, will be Leipzig minus 1.5, over 2.5 goals for both. Just the game total, and over 2.5 goals for Leipzig. Could be 3-0. Yes, look, and Cuckoo. I mean, I can't. Hopefully he's on United next year. I think he's big time. I think having watched Timo Werner struggle slightly for a year in that Chelsea lineup, but then seeing what Werner is doing now, scoring goals for fun. I think he could come over, and he's going to be one of these guys that's really dangerous. This Red Bull Leipzig team is really good. They're. I would love to see Leipzig play West Ham in the final. I think that would be the best game. West Ham against Rangers would be absolute carnage in Sevilla with the fans. Absolute carnage with that. Last time Rangers were in a European final, they brought about 250,000 fans to Manchester in 2008 and kind of just destroyed the city. And then Manchester United went out a couple days later and beat Chelsea in penalties. But they had those watch parties in the city because the final was at the Commonwealth Stadium at the time. Now it's called the Etihad. So, all right. So there's another European competition. Remember, this year, there's 3 now. Europa Conference League semifinals. This is at 3:00 as well, and it's on. If you have Paramount Plus, you can watch these and the Europa League games as well. The Champions League games right now are on CBS, which I think is really cool. I think these two games are really, really interesting to me. You got Feyenoord and Marseille. In the first game, Marseille right now second in the Ligue 1, and Feyenoord obviously in top three, I believe, in Eredivisie in Holland. And the other game is Leicester City and Roma, which is pretty interesting. I think there's a very decent chance. And if you could find this bet somewhere, or, in England, when you're walking around, you could ask them to say like, oh, give me this bet. And I think there's a decent chance that all three trophies are won by English teams: Leicester City, West Ham, and I don't even know. I wouldn't even know. I mean, I would probably root for Manchester City in that game. Last year, I was rooting for Chelsea, but it's just like, how do you root for two teams you don't really like? I'm definitely not rooting for Liverpool, that's for sure. Feyenoord in this game at plus 120 at home is dealing with tons of injuries to key players. Their first-string keeper is out. They have a striker out. Jahan Bash that came over from Kaepernick. Yeah, definitely. When you definitely you want to come on. Yeah, Das, my Twitter is right underneath here, the Prodigal Sean, and I also have a Margal Football. If you follow me on the Prodigal Sean, I'll follow you back and I'll show you that. Feyenoord has striker out, center back out, goalkeeper out, 4 or 5 key players out. Marseille gets Baba Dieng and Babacar Kamara back from suspension. Kamara is one of the best defensive midfielders in the world. Highly sought after. He's going to go somewhere for free this year, and he's going to be really big. Maybe Newcastle, hopefully Manchester United. For me, in this game, knowing that Feyenoord has those injuries and Marseille gets those key players back, I'm going to take a shot on Marseille Moneyline plus 220. The other way you could do it is take Marseille double chance. Double chance means you get the win and the draw for Marseille. If it's a draw or a win at minus 140. Once again, I don't love laying minus 140, but maybe if you're going to put in a parlay, that's interesting. I would take a shot on Marseille money line. I'm not a real big underdog kind of guy, but Marseille, I think, is the better team here. I have Marseille to advance in the tie at minus 120. They're second in Ligue 1. I think they're the better team. And I'm going to take a chance on over 2.5 goals at minus 135. I think both teams score maybe 2-1, something like this. If you want to take 2-1 as the play as well, as a team play, or a correct score play, you could do that. I think that's worth doing. Would you say there tends to be more goals than usual scored by these teams when they play in Europa League, or the same? I think at this level, these teams are all pretty good. To get here, you probably had to score some goals, the Europa Conference and the Europa League. I think it's interesting. I think the away goals, taking away the away goals has taken some of the caginess out of it. I think if you go on the road and get a 0-0 and you go home and win 1-0, or same way, if you get a 1-1 draw on the road, all you need is a 0-0 and you win. I think, taking away the away goals means teams are maybe, looking to attack. I mean, you just have to look at that Manchester City and Real Madrid game more. So, but I think you have to take it on a game-by-game basis. Yeah, look, Simon, do you bet draws often? I do. Sometimes I'll bet double chances just to give me, if I think, this weekend Newcastle is playing Liverpool. This is Liverpool. My main thing for today was that I thought maybe that Liverpool was going to be able to play, 4-5-0, and then kind of, play hard on the weekend against Newcastle, and then, go to Spain and have no problem. But, if this game ends 2-0, they're, Villarreal's still kind of in it. I mean, not really, but they kind of are. So maybe Newcastle is plus 600. So maybe you bet the double chance plus 200 and say Newcastle at home maybe has a chance. So, there's certain things. I think draws, I'll I think I'll bet draws more live betting. Live betting is so big. And we talk about it. I'm going to talk about live betting a little bit every day. You have to have a feel, and the people that were here yesterday will know what I said. Like, you have to have a feel for the game. If you're watching the game and you see that, this, it's 2-1 in the 70th minute, and this, you're, and the team that's down is just hit the post, hit the crossbar, everything, throwing the sink at them, and you just feel like there's going to be a goal at some time. The later the game goes, 75th minute, 77th minute, they don't really I don't think the algorithm or the whatever follows the match as much. They just know that it's the 77th minute and it's 2-1, and the later the game goes, the less chance a team has to tie or win the game. Obviously, you can think. But if you're watching it with your eyes and you're saying this team is going to happen, I think that's a good chance where you can put some money in and maybe, bet the draw, whatever. And then if they do score, maybe you can cash out that draw, cash out if your app lets you cash out, or maybe then go ahead and put a chance on the team that was losing 2-1 to maybe win the game, cash the draw out or whatever as it gets closer to whatever, and then hope the thing. There's a lot of different things you can do. The cash out option is really cool on these apps because, you can see how the game's going. But I think, Kaepernick says draws are situational, depends on staring at other teams. And, in the game, RG has Villarreal to get a goal in this game at plus 600. So we got 5 minutes plus injury time here. Draws could be lucrative. Now at the end of the season for some of these teams, they're half of their, they got their gear on the beach already and they're ready. They're checked out mentally. I think maybe you could win some money on those, but I think, it has to be, you have to kind of look at it a little bit. Foxy has a 4-game parlay every weekend. When it hits, the odds are mental. Yeah, look, I can't even, I've hit some parlays. I get real streaky with my parlays. My betting is, I don't know if you are all like this, but I get really, really streaky. And when I'm not doing well, I know at this point I'm just like I'm not feeling it. I'm just I start to get like when I'm really, really hot. I just bet, and then just everything's coming out, these crazy parlays and stuff, and you're winning like plus 500 parlays, and then start to lose a little bit, and I know I'm like what, I'm cold. I'm gonna wait, and then you test it a little bit and you see if you're back and stuff. I hate losing, so I'm pretty competitive even for betting. So I don't like to lose. The other conference, Europa Conference semifinal, is really intriguing as well. Leicester City plus 133, Roma plus 215, draw plus 230 tomorrow again at 3:00. Leicester beat a very good PSV team. PSV Eindhoven is really good. They're in the in the Dutch league. 2 late goals. They were down 1-0. They was 0-0 in the first leg, and they scored 2 late goals to go through. Jose's a master in these cups, but this is tough. And I remember seeing somebody talk about the Leicester. They have I think Madison, right? Madison to score. Leicester to win. Jim Bob had Leicester to win and Madison to score. I like Leicester City in this game. Once again, the Premier League to me is the best league in the world. Leicester City is 10th. They're very good though. Roma is they're a weird team. Jose has them up, and Tammy Abraham is good, but I think it's a tough. I wouldn't maybe 2-1 here, Leicester 3-2, something like that at home, and then go to Roma. Roma could get through. I wouldn't be stunned if they got through, and the odds for these are really crazy. I mean, all these teams are very even. You can make some pretty good money if you back, the winner of this conference league. They're all good teams. all 4 teams are good. I think that's why the odds. I mean, even Feyenoord is the last choice at maybe plus 375, and I think maybe Marseille is a favorite at plus 225. You're going to get good money on any of them. My pick in this game is Leicester City Moneyline at plus 133. I'm going to take a shot on them and see what happens. Vardy is going to be available. He came back and played about 20 minutes. Whether or not he plays is a different story, but I think he is going to be available. See if there's any news on that. Once again, if you're new, make sure you check before the game. It looks like, yeah, he's back. So whether or not he plays, I think this is a perfect spot for him. Look, Leicester City, I mean, they're 10th. If they win this conference league, though, they're in Europe next year, and they're not getting into Europe in the league because they don't have it. They don't have a chance. And I was talking to my buddy Mike Sampson, who's a Leicester fan. If Leicester won the league, which is the 5,000 to 1, craziest thing ever. There's never going to be anything like that ever again. They won the FA Cup last year. And then, if they go and win another trophy here, this is like the greatest period in Leicester City history. I mean, silverware is what it's all about. I don't, top 4 is great for me. I want trophies. I want to win something. I want to hang a flag and says that we're the champions. So I think that's important. All right. So we got one more slide, I believe. Oh, 2 more. Here's the Copa Libertadores and Sudamericana games for, Kaepernick. Let me pull this slide down. Maybe you can see it. I got to see all the Manchester United gear. We're moving next week, or the week after that. So I took some of the flags down. But I'm a big Manchester United fan, but we stink right now. Next year will be good though. So Libertadores, Universidad Católica plus 425, Flamengo RJ minus 165, draw plus 275. The second game, Always Ready, minus 155 versus Deportivo Cali, plus 375, draw plus 285. I put an upset alert next to that because I believe Foxy was talking about that yesterday, liking Deportivo Cali in this game. Correct me if I'm wrong, Foxy, but, double chance there is plus 118. For me, I'm just going to give you some of these odds and, maybe say, I think we were pretty good yesterday with taking some of these, the minus teams and putting together in a couple parlays and getting some plus money. In the Sudamericana, you got Defensa y Justica against LDU Quito. Defensa y Justica won the 2020 Sudamericana over Lanús. The 2 Argentine teams played. These tournaments, much like the England in the Premier League or in the Champions League now, and CONCACAF is always the Mexican teams. Mexico, U.S. at the end. None of these other teams ever get through. It's always Brazil and Argentina. You see Flamengo, Brazil, Sao Paulo here against the team with one of the best names ever, George Wilstermann. I just always love that team, plus 390. But Sao Paulo is Brazilian team. I'm always going to try to take a Brazilian team or an Argentinian team. And you see Lanús minus 106. Defensa y Justica made it to the round of 16 last year in the Copa Libertadores. So if you're new to this, Libertadores is like the Champions League. Sudamericana is like the Europa League. It's a little bit lower. So Defensa y Justica made it to, they won the tournament in 2020, the smaller tournament. They waited to the round of 16 and they lost to Palmeiras, who went on to win the title. So they're a pretty good team. They're back here in this tournament. So, playing LDU Quito, the game next time against Quito, when it's up in elevation, that might be different. But here, I think I'll like Defensa y Justica and then take a chance on Lanús. So, if you want to take any of these, Justica, Sao Paulo, Always Ready as they play in La Paz, Bolivia. So at height. So Foxy, that's okay. So you did like Always Ready. I was trying to remember what it is. Maybe then we will take that slide and say, you know what, go with Always Ready. If Foxy, the South American expert, likes Always Ready, I'm going to go with them. Deportivo Cali is not playing well. All right. So, final slide. I'm going to give you some parlays, just different ones from the games I kind of went through. Chelsea moneyline plus 118. West Ham moneyline minus 110. That's going to pay 316. Decent money right there. Chelsea moneyline, West Ham moneyline, Leipzig moneyline pays 446. Pretty good money right there. Leipzig minus 1.5. West Ham moneyline pays 264. Marseille double chance. Now remember, I liked Marseille on the money line, but if you're going to give me minus 140 for two of the outcomes, and then I can pair it with, pair it with RB Leipzig at minus 320 and get plus 128. I think that's decent value. That's kind of my strategy. I'm going to look for these games. For me, like if I say, look, RB Leipzig is going to win the game. Liverpool. So Liverpool won 2-0, so they covered the 1.5. Okay. If I think RB Leipzig is going to win the game, I'll take them on the money line and maybe put them in with somebody else. Maybe I don't like the minus 1.5. Maybe I only think they're going to win by 1 goal, so the money line might be worth it. So, you could pair them with Chelsea money line at plus 118 and you get decent odds. Look at that. Chelsea money line, West Ham money line, and Leipzig money line. It's plus 446. It's pretty good money. 50's giving you 223 back. My quick mental math there. So I think that's pretty interesting to do. I would usually rather bet to, like today, Liverpool money line. If I'm going to bet Liverpool money line, I'm putting them with Middlesbrough, or I'm putting them with Inter, both teams to score, or Atalanta, both teams to score, or over that game. That game was crazy, 4-4. So, I'm always trying to find another game maybe to play, or maybe put it with, we'll go back here. Maybe we'll put it with, one of these teams here. LDU, or Defensa. Kaepernick. Yesterday, the main play that I had yesterday. I don't bet a lot, but if I like a game, I'll bet was Benzema to score at plus 250. I think you can get that. Clean sheets, I think, is good. Now, once again, I was on Ali Burns' show earlier, and there's 2 different bets for clean sheets. You can bet a team to keep a clean sheet, which covers the 0-0 draw as well, and it's going to give you, whatever odds. And then you could also bet a team to win to 0, so they're going to keep a shutout and win the game. 2 different things, right? So you can bet both of those. One is going to obviously give you less value than the other one. So, but yeah, I love goal scorer bets. I think, some of these teams when they're hot, I think, Mane gave out, 4 different goal scorers, Mane to score, and he scored today. It's tough when you don't see, you see the lineup and they started Salah, Mane, and Luis Diaz. And then Jota came in 73rd minute. So, I probably would have left him out at that point, Jota. But we talked about Asian handicaps. Look, I love them. When you bet handicaps in soccer, Liverpool -1, they have to win by 2. If they win by 1, you lose. There's no push. If you bet Asian handicap -1, if they win by 1, it is a push. So I will always, hello, Ezekiel, how are you? Thanks for joining in. I will always take, I will always want to take an Asian handicap, and I'll take less value. Yesterday we had Sheffield Wednesday minus 0.75. They won by 1, so you only win half your bet. But it's it's better to win half your bet than to lose because you took them at -1, hoping they would win by 2. So, I will take that. And, the Asian handicap -1s, if they win by 1, it's just bad luck. What are you going to do? You get your money back. But I don't like the -1 handicaps unless I think a team is going to win like, 2-0, 3-0, like Liverpool today. But instead of taking them Asian handicap, I just bet on -1.5. You probably get about the same money. So I love I love Asian handicaps. We'll talk a lot about those. Did I have that in here? I think I had an Asian handicap bet here somewhere. Maybe I took it out. I do like those. I think there's different ways to, when you're trying to bet soccer, for me, if you've got to give up a little bit of value, if you're betting a parlay, for example, Marseille, for example, you could bet Marseille. If I think Marseille is going to win, plus 220 and RB's like -320, and that's going to pay a lot. But, if you can get a double chance at -140 and you have two of the chances and still get plus money, you're better off doing that. And I think with the Asian handicaps, even though you're giving up a little bit of money, I had the Asian handicap with Sheffield Wednesday. Yep, they won 3-2. They were losing 2-1. They came back 3-2. And, you win. Any kind of win is better than any kind of draw, any kind of, push or any kind of loss. If you're betting $50 on a game on an Asian handicap at -0.75 and it was 3-2 like yesterday, you win. You win. I think it was plus 105. So you win $30. So it is what it is. You gotta, wins are better than losses, right? Just at the end of the week, if I'm up $50, my goal is to win $50 a day. If I can win $50 a day at the end of the week, I'm up $350. Sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I am. Sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm up more. Whatever it is. But you just have to have a goal and stick with it. I just want to say here too, make sure you're following the Max Wagers Network all day. Midday Money, Morning Wood, Allie Burns. I was on there today. Just Parlays with Chris King. I was on there last week or before I went to Manchester. Scott and Scott back to the window. Me at 4, Game Time Decisions. Make sure you're hitting the like and the subscribe and all that good stuff, and ring that bell. Get us some subscriptions, and we're going to get some more shows coming to you soon. We've got all kinds of action coming up. So now I'm going to be here again on tomorrow from 4 to 5. And Friday's show, I just want to be, if you have any questions for Friday, or if you have any games that you want me to talk about Friday for the weekend, make sure you're tuned in tomorrow. Leave a comment, follow me on Twitter, and I'm going to go through. We're going to do more of a preview for the weekend. So we're going to try to hit a lot of different games. And I want to try to ask, if you guys have any questions or girls have any questions about this, and, see if you have any kind of comments for these games on the weekend, because I think that's where there's going to be some good games. So, all right. So that's it for today. Leave the comments, subscribe, follow me on Twitter. Let me get rid of this banner so I can show you the thing at the Prodigal Sean right there. Follow me there, and I'll give you some. There's got a website coming out called Amargal Football. It's already live, but I haven't really done anything with it. So there'll be a lot of stuff on there. So thanks for watching, and I'll see everyone tomorrow.